Hello everyone, this is the Butter Toasty channel. Today we're going to be playing a fun, innocent game called Urge! A game about pee, the apocalypse. Pee. Eating, surviving, peeing, and nothing horrific after that. I'll be doing an Iron Man challenge, so if I perish due to some unforeseen circumstances, I'll need to restart the whole challenge from the beginning. Also, to make this challenge more fun, is you're seeing a completely blind playthrough. So, let's get out there and have some fun and begin, shall we? Oh no, did I break my game already? Oh, there we go, yay! I think most of us would start off an apocalyptic scenario ignorant to the trigger event that causes it all. With how popular the idea once was in our culture, I'm sure for a while, we could probably pretend it wasn't even happening around us. Okay. The problem with that would be that the world outside ourselves doesn't just stop because we aren't ready to deal with it. If the people you cared about left you in a desperate time, would you look for them? Do you think they would have left some sort of clue or marking as to where they were going or what their intentions were? Would you chase after them? Would you be gathering what you think you would need to find them along the way? That was the first goal. Grab everything I could carry and search every room. Whoever I was holed up with before didn't want to wait. I was unaware of what was ahead of me. If I had to go out on my own, I wanted to be prepared, and what I was seeing was very worrying.
Then that bastard left me and it was go time. I wasn't gonna let this 18-wheel RV outrun me in my sedan, my station wagon, my chariot. It was gonna go down, and I was gonna be the Drift King that stopped him. How dare he betray the trust of the Drift King, the only one who could drift the finest of drifts. I was all about the family and the racing, but he betrayed me, and I'll never forget it. When I caught up to him, he was gonna have to only drift in a wheelchair for the rest of his life.
I guess it's been a while if I'm gonna just start in this room. Toilet paper. Save at this. Why does this bathroom have no toilet? After all the dust settled, my first day was mostly figuring out all the controls, navigating the in-game menus, learning crafting recipes, and discovering this game's selling point mechanic. For me, was the P-bar. A bar that slowly fills up, and if not managed properly, would bring danger to me no matter where I was and how safe I thought I could be. Now there would be no shortage of me making mistakes along the way. There would be various drawers and cabinets that, if opened, would create a fog of pee. This would increase a fog meter in the game that would cause more danger in game. Oh shit, damn it. This first day was mostly filled with curiosity of the world around me. Everything was so quiet and barren. You could break windows to houses with rocks and have zero reaction. What is that? My big issue on day one was mostly getting lost. I had no lay of the land and zero idea as to where I would be going next. Just where I thought the RV went earlier. Another major challenge I found myself running into a lot on this first day
was inventory management. So it slowly became clear to me that I was going to need some sort of storage container to start storing items soon, or I had to find a way to craft and condense my items down into things that were more useful, which, with as little space as I had, was getting very, very difficult. I started to mess around with the building mechanics in the game, mostly because I didn't have a clock, I didn't know what time it was in the game, and I didn't know when danger would start to arise, whether it be strictly during the day or the nighttime during this part of the game. The danger level was low.
Oh, damn it.
Unless I kept making mistakes like that, where, you know, just pee in random spots, that issue we all have in random games that involve survival crafting. After figuring out some of the construction mechanics, I went right back to looting. I figured, I'm a little loot goblin. I gotta loot. I gotta pick up everything that I see, which conveniently on my travels got me to the RV I was trying to hunt down. I picked up 2 maps. One of them was the world map, and one of them was where I was supposed to go next, but I didn't know that yet, and I kind of just forgot about them for a while. I also learned you can't just pee in random puddles of pee. That's bad. There was then more looting, learning how to dispose of pee properly. Then there was staring at the map and not knowing what it meant. And then going the wrong way completely for a while and just exploring the wrong area. We were gonna come back here, but like, this is the wrong area. So I loot goblined it up. I just kept taking everything that I could pick up. I then discovered a secret door. Going inside, of course, I was gonna loot everything that I could see. But I didn't feel ready, so I left, and that's when danger struck. The bugs were only the beginning, but I had to explore this other location too. Again, not on the map. I don't think I was supposed to be there yet, but I was going to take everything I could see. I was going to see what was on the inside. I was going to look at all the creepy stuff. And I was going to be on my way. There was even foreboding messages that said, don't be in here. But, you know, I was going to stick around, looting as much as I can. The thing is, though, was that my luck was slowly going to start to run out. You see, it was getting dark, and I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't really have a place of shelter, so I was going to have to find one fast. This all led me to a trailer in the woods. My first shelter. It was going to have to do. It even came with its own creepy notes. I wouldn't say it'd be a 5-star review on my my visit, but I'd give it a 2. It's got beds.
What the fuck is that?
Seeing as I had some unwanted guests, I was gonna have to close up shop for the night and deal with it all in the morning. Starting off the second day, we were going to have to deal with the weird bug thing outside. It was going to prove to be interesting. This is while I was also leaving various clouds of pea fog everywhere. This bug needed to die so that I could deal with my pee.
Ah, get off of me!
With the bug dead and the pea partially dealt with, my new task was to figure out where I was and where was I actually really supposed to be going. Of course, I would get further lost and find myself in another area, finding new notes, and still looting every single little thing that I could grab along the way. On day 2, I was starting to notice an uptick in bugs, though. Lots of bugs, which would prove not to be a problem later. Just every single time that I'm trying to find loot, or I'm picking up loot, or cutting down trees, or chopping wood, or hitting metal, and just grabbing loot, anything loot related, and then bugs showing up, it was an issue that needed to be dealt with right then and there. On a side note to that though, I was starting to hear more ambient strange sounds coming from underground. I then found it. The one house I was going to shack up in. It was going to be my new safe haven from all of the bugs. Boarding it up completely and storing all of the loot and gear I find along the way. In this specific house that is so far removed from where I spawned.
Oh shit, god damn it.
Right then and there, I saw him outside. My everything. All I knew is in a couple seconds there could only be one of us.
Hey, get away from me.
It was me or him. This is my new home. Whoever lived here before was gone now. And if it was this man, he's dead too. This is my safe haven. I was going to build an empire around it.
Damn it.
The whole city would have to send every single person within it to pull me out and drag me by my nails. This house would be the fortress of my solitude. Board by board, this fortress would be able to store all of my belongings and keep me safe at night as I whimper behind the shades from the darkness that I did not quite understand yet.
What the fuck is that?
It would protect me from all the pea demons and their weird obsession with grabbing me. So back to looting and trying to survive. I built a fog meter of my own just to keep track of how dangerous the area outside was getting. Then a new threat showed its face. The only option was murder.
Get fucked.
He wasn't an easy target to put down, but I had to keep swinging, else he'd chop me to bits with his big-ass chainsaw. My tactic was simple. Keep kiting around him while swinging my axe, and eventually, maybe he'll die. After I dealt with the major threat, it was time to put the finishing touches to my base for now. Having the bottom floor secured, I could feel a sense of safety somewhere as the threats seemed to only keep rising. Then, I went back to looting. If you want an honesty, I don't know why I was looting. It could have been my lack of direction. I know I had a poorly drawn map, but I didn't quite know where it really wanted me to go. So the reality was, these first few days were just to get a lay of the land, figure out the world, and where I'd be spending my time mostly. There was no shortage of foreshadowing imagery either. It really made me think about the future. But forget all of that. We're here to loot. We're here to collect every single little thing that I could see. I wasn't thinking about any of that. I was just seeing it. It was just around. It was everywhere. But, I mean, the loot, it had to get into my pockets, you know? Loot goblin time. I even found the tower. And I was going to climb the little tower just to get a little sense of my direction, see where I was, and then realize I was right next to spawn. I was right next to where I spawned. I didn't go anywhere. I actually just have been wandering around the same area for like hours. With my newfound knowledge, I figured I'd just unload some stuff, you know, the P, and then try to get a new sense of direction and explore some of the stuff, get scared, and then leave. This little underground tunnel would be important, but not really. I was going to be too scared to explore it, so I just didn't, and then I'll come back to it later, I guess. I'd go back to looting, and I figured I'd just build some extra additional things for the base. It was going to slowly get dark soon, so I figured I'd probably build some lights so I could actually see where I was going, and it ended up looking pretty good. It was too early to go to sleep, but I tried anyways. This is where I learned that sleep times are set, so I had to wait. Things were fairly peaceful though. I was actually kind of getting a false sense of security, thinking that maybe I'd have a peaceful night and I wouldn't get attacked every single night. But that too is also short-lived. I could kind of hear them coming, and as I heard them coming, I knew the vibe had to swap. With all the threats neutralized, it was time to get some rest. Tomorrow was going to be a different day. I was going to have to do something different. I couldn't just loot all the buildings till they were empty and then hold out as long as I could. I was going to have to find answers for what happened with the RV. I had to figure out why these bugs kept attacking me, and I needed to figure out what was down in that tunnel. I would then proceed to clear out whatever pests were already back at my house again. My base wasn't foolproof. It seemed like there was something attracting these bugs to my base. It was probably me. So I just left and went to go explore the dark tunnel that I was scared of earlier. The second I went in though, the atmosphere changed, almost swallowing me whole into a dark, claustrophobic mouth from my perspective that could have gone on forever. It twisted itself and turned, the darkness at the end showing no signs of changing. It was damp. My footsteps echoed back at me. The hairs on my arms would stand up, but my curiosity beckoned me to push forward, face the darkness, and not let it consume me. I'd be the one to look back at it as it stared me down. Then I heard it. These subterranean creatures were my new threat. Clearly of human form, they had been twisted and plagued by this virus that was coming from the clouds of urine that had consumed this town. No longer showing signs of humanity, they came to me with extreme hostility. If I was to get out of this tunnel, it was now a situation of me or them. Violence was becoming the only reasonable strategy to any life I had come across since leaving to chase that RV. I had to wonder if staying home, playing ignorant to the world around me, would have been easier than finding the truth. But I had to move on. The world was getting more dangerous by the day, and more of these creatures were just going to keep showing up if I didn't do something about it. I had to figure out what was causing this all, and where my companion even went. I finally saw the ending of the tunnels. I stepped out to be hit with fresh air and sunshine. It was a relief. After everything I saw, it was time to get back to preparing for the worst. I'd start cutting down trees to start gathering wood, though I would probably be attacked several more times in the meantime. It was becoming very apparent that even with the fog meter reading low, I was encountering more and more enemies, and I was gonna have to really start preparing soon for combat. Then I saw this weird one, and it died really quickly. I didn't think anything of it at the time. But this was probably going to be very problematic later, and you'll probably see why. I started clearing more and more daytime street threats. It was starting to become just routine habit, and I was starting to think less and less about the combat. It was almost desensitizing to constantly have to fend for myself while gathering loot. But my current strategy was also not really working all that well for combat. My health bar was slowly diminishing to a point where it was very worrisome that I'd have to restart the challenge already. I needed a weapon upgrade, and I needed armor fast. And especially after fighting this big tall guy. He almost took me out. So I'd go back to base, heal up as much as I could with food and whatever medicine that I had, using all of it, and then I'd craft as much armor as I could so that way I can at least tank some blows before putting myself in further danger again. As for weapons, we'll find more later. We'd be saving the crossbow for later as well, since the arrows that I had at the time were explosive, and I wanted to use those sparingly because they're not easy to craft. I went back to the RV, mostly because I needed to stop goofing off. I was going to try to figure out what the map meant. Where was I actually supposed to be going? I had to get there by the end of day 3, so that way I can feel like I've made some sort of progress instead of running around in circles in the starting location like I had been. I even figured out how to fix the flashlight, since apparently the flashlight can die, and those batteries actually do have a purpose, aside from making explosive arrows. Then I looked at the map, and I finally figured out that I'm supposed to follow the road. So I used my time as wisely as I could. I figured I still had time in the day to run to this location, and I finally made it there. A big house with a garage, and I was gonna explore the crap out of it. I'd pick up some loot, and then there it was. Another map. Back to the RV. Again. Damn it. There was also a creepy basement, but it was mostly just filled with possums and pee. Nothing really super helpful down there. So I'd leave the house, I'd make my way back to my base, because as I was traveling I noticed the sun was slowly starting to set. I'd probably cut down a few more trees and build myself a second storage box. I needed the extra space because my first one was already getting full and my inventory was kind of cramped. With that built and my inventory successfully organized, I now had a new threat, and that was whatever was spawning near my base as the night fell. But this time there was something different, something I didn't expect. With this monster quickly dispatched, I now knew that they could hold guns, which meant scarier monsters could fight ranged combat. That's not good. But for now, I was gonna turn in. And when I turned in, the next day would come. And so wouldn't more adventures. I'd like to thank you all for watching. This is the first video I actually tried to figure out. You can kind of see me progress as I go, but yeah, thanks.